Well, I'm out here in the garden. The rain has stopped for a moment, so there's a break in the showers, although the lawn itself is rather waterlogged. And I just wanted to say one or two things, which is how I've got this little loco to run a little bit better, but also my thoughts having had a couple of tanks of water through it, and I think it's getting close to being run in. So these are my thoughts on the Falk from Bowande. Well, that's the loco, purchased from the Vale of Rheidhol, and I think that label says about it. You'll see it on some of my other videos. The thing that I was just discovering about it, having run it around the track, is that it's difficult to know when it's running low on water, because although there's a sight glass there, I can't always see the meniscus or level of water in the sight glass, particularly when it's running. The pressure gauge gives an idea of the pressure. You know when it's fully up to pressure when you've got a little bit of steam escaping from the safety valve. And the thing about it is it's a loco which has a top-up system, because what it is the gas tank here is bigger than, or contains more gas than is needed to completely boil away one boiler full of water. Now, some of the other locos I've got have a gas tank which is of a size that the gas should run out before the water runs dry if you fill them both up at the same time. Various ways of refilling a loco. Some is that you have an automatic refilling system. On this one you don't have a place where you can plug in this refiller bottle, but you do have a tank on the back and an axle driven water pump underneath, and a little screw on the side to allow you to access that. Now, if I can just about see the water in the sight glass now bobbing up and down, so I know I've got half a boiler full of water. But this screw down here, which controls the water flow from the tank into the boiler, is rather fiddly to get at. Obviously the loco's got to be stationary for you to do that. I'm going to close that off now because I had it fully open to try and get some water in. Anyway, it tells you to put 75 millilitres in the boiler, 50 millilitres I think it is into there. It doesn't matter how much you have in there, surely. And then that's the water in there. So that's the main thing. The other thing about it, having run it a couple of times, is that the smoke box door is now getting rather burnt. Not sure if that's because I'm blasting the gas through it at too great a rate or not. Other than that, it's beginning to run reasonably well. It prefers the forward reverse lever to be 1/2 to 3/4 forward, not up to the notch. I think you can just about see that it's not quite up to the notch, and the same the other way for running with this one. And the regulator cracked open maybe 45 degrees, or between 0 and 45 degrees, to control the steam and the gas, just to get a nice sound. So that's the main thing, is the water levels. Watching the water levels. Clearly you've got to watch a loco, you can't leave it. And I detected that the water was running low because the pressure was going up, but you know, it's just one of those things. You can detect that it's actually running a little bit dry, even though you can't see something, and turn the gas off straight away so that you don't stress the boiler in any way whatsoever. Anyway, there we are. We are ready to give it perhaps the last run for today. Some gas topped up into the gas tank, water into the boiler. I'll put the filler cap back onto the boiler, and I can light the gas and give it time to steam up and go away. There's a bit of a breeze, but not too much. So I think it should. Obviously it takes longer to steam up if you've got a lot of breeze. So the pressure gauge does just give you some help. You can tell when it's got up to pressure when you've got some steam coming out from this part of the loco. Just a little bit of steam escaping from the pressure relief valve. That means you're up to the right sort of pressure, and you can crack open the steam regulator and see if the position of the forward reverse lever is in the right position for your machine. It must just be that the pistons opening the cylinder valves are travelling in an optimal way when it's opened that far. Got the motion right on that. And so I've half filled the boiler this time so it will get up to steam. Can you see it? Steam's coming out there now at the top. The pressure isn't particularly high. And yet I've got some steam coming out, so I may just give it a little go, open up the regulator. I've still got it set in reverse. I'm going to change it to forwards. And of course, when it's newly filled, you do have to expel the water from the system by rolling it. But I think the water's out. And the steam's coming out before it's got up to pressure there. So yeah. Scrub that. The pressure gauge is only just getting up towards pressure. Give it another little short while before I start it. Apparently you can close the smoke box door at this stage, but it doesn't stay closed. There's no catch to keep it closed on mine anyway. Do you want me to try and start it now at the end of this little video here? Open the gas, open the steam a bit. No, maybe not quite. Yeah, there we go. That's it. It's away. The gas may be a bit high, so when it comes down the other side I'm going to just turn the gas regulator down a little bit. Because if I don't, it's going to come flying around this corner, and I was hitting a corner on the downhill is where it's likely to come off. Just give it another go. There we go. It is self-starting now if I leave it long enough for the pressure to get up. Yes, that's much better. If it improves a bit more over this, it will be satisfactory. It should self-start here. I think I've got the settings good. A lovely bit of steam coming out of it now as it's running along. Looks quite nice. They're racing along. Slightly better regulation. This bit's downhill. This along the straight, the level. And that's a little bit better. It's not racing away quite as much as it was. And then as it rounds the corner onto the slight uphill on the other side, it may pause while it just builds up a bit more pressure. And then hopefully we'll self-start again. It's not roaring as much. I've turned the gas down, so it's not roaring. I don't need to stand around. but if I turn the gas down more than that, it didn't seem to be enough gas going through. I'm going to have to investigate some things. Lots of tweaking for me to do to get the hang of this. Get dizzy. It's been round quite a few times now. This is better. Gas turned down a bit. You see, maybe it just needs running in more, so get the gas turned down a bit, and then it's just stop, pause there. I want to give it a little push because I don't want it to build up so much pressure it shoots off. There it does, it shoots off once it's paused. Oh, much better sound from the gas. I want the gas to be that low, but it's not keeping up. Not quite keeping up in terms of steam generation. Right, this is the third or fourth steaming after being quite fickle. I think, well, what happens is you run it in as you steam it and just open it, but I think you also learn some of the settings of the regulator and the forward reverse lever. It's raining slightly, but it's nice just to be able to run something around the track. And so what I've got now is the forward reverse lever on half forward, and what I'll do is when it gets to here, it's just because it's slight incline, when you put it into reverse, so slide it back so it gets to run both ways round. I have had it going too fast and it did tip over, but hopefully this is enough, not quite enough to get up the hill, and that's the pressure. So the pressure has dropped slightly, but there it is. It's setting off on its own as the pressure rises. Don't know if I need to. The other thing with this is to it's not easy to keep an eye on the water. I've got the have I got the pump open? The bubble, no, the bubble seems to show there's enough water. I may run out of gas because I only half filled the gas tank. I've run out of gas, so I'm going to do the gas again, because the gas tank is way more than you need for a run, unless you refill the water quite a bit. I think it says 75 millilitres in there and 50 millilitres in there, which would be 125 millilitres. Well, the gas will boil more than 125 millilitres, so it would boil the tank dry if you ran it until the gas was empty. Okay, so it's going slightly uphill here. What I've got to watch is as it comes downhill slightly here. Not too fast there, that won't tip up. There we go. It's blowing off steam, so it's up to pressure. That is not the issue. Oh, there's plenty of pressure. That might be indication of the water level. Emptied the water out. There's still plenty of oil on the mechanisms, which is good. It'll go away like that. But I can feel that it's now far smoother than it was, just rolling my hands across that. I've got the filler valve out, so it's not going to back pressure into the boiler at all. I act as a pump, pumping, well, it would be air, wouldn't it, up into the boiler. But that's lovely and smooth now. So the running in is working. That's much better. Now it's just a matter of finding a good, oh look, one of the crashes has bent the handle there. finding a position where the settings of gas regulator and forward reverse lever for the motion are optimum for a good running around, and that's going to be a little bit difficult. But look at that, everything's moving nicely now, and so I'm pleased with the way it is developing as a little steam loco. There are some steam leaks around the valve chest. There, I can just see that bubbling away. And I'm not sure if there wasn't some of the cylinder covers, certainly on this side. Oh, on both sides. Can't get to the other side with the camera very easily. Can see it. The pressure's up well for the moment. And it seems as though what you have to do is set it somehow into a rolling mode. Just a little thing I've discovered. It's incredibly difficult to get to the steam oil reservoir because of this log haul gear on the front of the loco. But what I found is that if I drop the oil onto this rail, it drips off it from underneath and lands right in the filler hole. So it runs off that rail and drops into there. I'm not sure if I can quite catch that on camera. No, not really easily. But there it dribbles in. Yep, just a bit dribbled in, maybe just a touch more. There it goes. Oh, it's just overflowed it now. The other thing is, I'm running this inside to run in. You'll note that even though it's a breezy, coolish day, I've got the window open there. You can see the curtains blowing so that there's a breeze coming through. And that's because I have a carbon monoxide alarm, and that alarm sounded. So, you know, you need to be careful. It shows that the alarm is working. So don't run anything indoors like that unless you do have an alarm, not a smoke alarm. Got smoke alarms as well, but a carbon monoxide alarm, they're a bit more expensive, probably about £25–30. And now I've got my window open, so I've got the place well ventilated.